Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Raw review. So, they had Batista tonight. All the roadblocks are out of the way. There's no Elimination Chamber. There's no Fast Lane. No secondary throwaway pay-per-views. This is the real road to WrestleMania. And you could have fooled me. You seriously could have fooled me. You look at this show. And you compare this show to, I don't know, even a random 2006 episode of SmackDown or Raw. And you're guaranteed to see some excitement. You're guaranteed to see some hype headed into Mania. I mean, this is like how it's been every single year for over a decade now. Mania just doesn't feel like Mania. It feels pretty much like, tell me, what is the difference between the build-up to Fastlane versus the build-up that we had tonight? Was it better in any way? Was there anything at all? No, actually, didn't we have a better Raw last week? Didn't we have a better Raw the week before? This Raw here was as bland as it gets. It was another really seriously boring show. And coming right off of Fastlane, I mean, that's really saying something. You would have thought that show completely bombed. Maybe they come back with something new and exciting in it. And you would think the way how they, they barely even acknowledge Fastlane. It's like they don't even, barely even talk about it on this show. It's because it didn't need to happen. There was nothing on this show that affected Raw in any way. No title changes, no big surprises, no nothing. Nothing happened. They didn't even have anything to report on, really, about this show. Besides the Shield reuniting, and they had their last match together. Well, that was their last match together, but they still got to get through their last night together, I guess. So I thought that was their last night, supposedly, on Fastlane. And from what I'm being told through the dirt sheets now, from what I'm seeing online, what people are writing, this is it. They're not going to use Dean Ambrose anymore. So let's just get into the show. So we start off with, that was, like I said, last night, the last match of the Shield. This is the last appearance of the Shield together or something. I don't even know what this was technically, but anyway, it was their final entrance together, their final promo together, their absolute final moment that wasn't a match, together, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how official these things really are, but anyway, they stand together. They all talk except for Ambrose, who stays quiet, I'm just like, how does this make Ambrose look? Like, he was all geared up to have a big heel push. Everyone was clamoring for it the minute he came back from his injury. And now he's, leaving the company. This is a sad state of affairs. Ambrose is a talented guy. But, I mean, they've done everything in their power to try. I mean, they've given this guy the WWE Championship, yet they've done everything in their power to try to hold this guy back and make him look like an absolute bland goofball. Even when they were labeling him the lunatic, they still made him so fucking bland. I mean, to the point where they had the guy wrestling in jeans and a tank top. And not just a tank top, a fucking wife beater. He looked like he could have bought that outfit in 2 seconds from a local Target. I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, buy a pack of Hanes undershirts and there you go. There's the Dean Ambrose attire. How is that for star power? But anyway, not to knock Ambrose, but it's just like all of these guys. How are they ever going to build new stars, especially when we have this where, every 2 seconds it was a Shield reunion. They can't even help themselves. They couldn't just leave Fastlane well enough alone and just let Seth Rollins, go about his, we're on fire tonight ways, and just have him be a singles competitor again. No, we had to have that one final last send-off after the last send-off. They can't help themselves. They're obsessed with the Shield, and the thing is, the Shield wasn't even that good. I said that time and time again when they brought them back in 2017. I said, what was the point? The Shield wasn't even that great to begin with. It was overrated. It took place during a bad era anyway. We couldn't even accurately judge if they could be a great team. Because everything they were involved in, they were just lackeys for other people. They did dirty work for the for the authority. And then they could have had a good storyline where they were going to be doing the bidding of CM Punk, but they quickly abandoned that, that idea because, they're scared of success. They don't want anything to go over with the crowd, apparently. That's what it would seem like. Because I don't know why they chose to not do that. The Shield could have went a different path. But I will actually say I don't think the Shield were that great of a team. I look back on the Shield and I'm like, I guess they were better than, the other people at the time. I guess it was different because, they looked a little bit different than everybody else. And they stood out because everyone else was so bland and boring. They were probably the only thing at the time that seemed remotely like a character of some sort. They had a different entrance, it was something different. But everyone clears out and this, magically Paul Heyman just appears and he's going back and forth with Seth Rollins. And, Seth Rollins here, once again, it's okay, so Seth Rollins is getting some good shots in here on Brock Lesnar to Paul Heyman. Pay Brock Lesnar some more money to be there to promote WrestleMania. No, he can't be bothered. Fastlane's over. They at least owed us a Brock Lesnar appearance, for God's sakes, for having us sit through that massive disaster that was Fastlane, and the massive disaster that all these weeks of programming has been. And I'm really sitting back and people oh, what happened? Acting like the past couple of weeks are actually good or something. And I'm just saying, what show are these people watching? What culture is, what are they watching? Saying that this shit is good, it's garbage. It didn't improve last week. It didn't improve the week before. It's the same garbage. It's how it's always been. Once in a while, a few times a year, you get one or two good segments. We got a good Rousey segment. Batista appeared. That was something different. Triple H cut a promo. Besides those three things, what really changed? What characters developed? Who prospered on the roster? Absolutely no one. So there's no good shows. That's a fucking myth right there. The show is improved. Says who? Nothing is improved. So here's the thing. I was gonna say, where Rollins is speaking truth here, but I hate this, he's speaking truth. It's fake, first of all. And the fact that he even has the ability to say that Brock Lesnar had a problem with Finn Balor, that he had, all these things, fighting smaller guys. And then he goes, it looks like Brock Lesnar has a problem fighting guys my size. And yeah, and it shouldn't be that way because he's a monster. Why should he have a problem fighting them? And then Paul Heyman brings up the fact that Brock Lesnar's opponents over the past few years have changed 1,000 times. First it was Braun Strowman, then it was Finn Balor, then it was supposed to be AJ Styles, and then it was Daniel Bryan, and then it was Jinder Mahal, and then it was AJ Styles, and it's exactly, it just shows over the past few years how fucked up this company has been and how they can't even get their own booking straight. Injuries, catering to the smarks, just fucking not knowing what they're doing, pointless swerves that don't even make any sense, with Braun Strowman. What was the point of that? And all these things, it's they bring it up and they should be things that they should really sweep under the rug, but being so honest is not a good thing in this case. I would do the exact opposite. I'd be embarrassed of these facts, not use them as fuel to the fire in a promo. And the fact that you have Rollins gloating about how he has a chance in this match because Brock Lesnar has such a hard time beating twerps in the ring. I mean, honestly, it really is a good point. But it's like we have to remember that this is a fake promo, and they're giving Rollins this script, and you're like running down your own champion. He's supposed to be the legit guy, like one of the last few real big men with any type of credibility. And what do you do here? You make him look like a joke in this promo. So great build up right there. Let's all give him a hand. They did a fantastic job burying Brock Lesnar here. And then Shelton Benjamin sneaks up behind Seth Rollins and he takes him to Suplex City. And I'm all for Shelton Benjamin being on the show, but in this way, all he was fodder for Seth Rollins. He just beats him like that. And this was like a reference to the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. And, I don't even know why they bothered referencing this, because it was an OVW tag team. Maybe they wrestled a few dark matches, but they were never as an on-screen team. So, Brock Lesnar isn't exactly known for being a tag team wrestler. So what was the point of this? Shelton Benjamin just, being put out there just to lose, and, there's no brand extension. He just magically shows up on Raw. Well, why is there even a brand extension? I mean, honestly, why don't we just do away with this shit already? They're gonna do they're gonna shake it up once again with another draft, like after Wrestlemania. How is there any purpose in doing that when you've got Aleister Black and Ricochet going from show to show? Becky's jumping from show to show, and then we have Shelton Benjamin with a random jump, and all of a sudden he's automatically booked on Raw in the match. So it's like they already knew he was going to show up. So that kind of makes you think. Remember the whole Survivor Series thing, and it's a tooth and nail battle between SmackDown and Raw? Apparently not, because they're allowed. It's like, how come there was a big ruckus in November when a SmackDown star showed up on a Raw show, but now it's like, oh yeah, it's Shelton Benjamin, look at that. And the announcers are not even fazed by it. Oh yeah, there's no effort put into this show. You goofballs that say that this show is improved, I mean, what are we looking at really here? I mean, honestly, there is nothing that has improved on this show whatsoever. I couldn't even tell you. You sit there and you're saying oh, the show's getting better. It's getting better because it had Batista. Because I mean, there's no effort being put into these shows at all. Nothing has changed. This is what always happens. They do one or two decent things a year. You guys get a little excited for, and you're like, oh, and it's no, I'm sorry, but they're not fooling me one bit, because it's not even good. I was the first one to say it. I was the first one to come on here. Everyone's ranting and raving. Oh, the Batista thing, Batista's back. I was like, it's not that good. It's not that great. I just couldn't get into it. Then you had Bobby Lashley defeating Finn Balor, and I know JD's going to be real upset about this one. What was the point of taking the belt off Lashley in the first place if they were just going to give it back to Lashley? I mean, why put it on Balor if you were just going to give it back to Lashley in a month or two? You didn't even do anything with him. It's unless they just realized, you know what, we fucked up. Let's just give him the belt back. Not really a lot to say here, just very sudden. It just shows. They have no prior planning. Everything is at the last minute, and it really is what Paul Heyman said. It's it was supposed to be Jinder Mahal, but then it was AJ Styles, and then it was AJ Styles, and then it turned out to be Daniel Bryan, and then it was Braun Strowman, and then it turned out to be Finn Balor. All these last minute changes, it really shows that they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they have no prior planning whatsoever. And it shows right there. All the title changes, every single match. I mean, look at Fastlane. They just like at the last minute swap somebody out. Another guy gets injured. There's too many injuries. There's too many changes to the show. And it's being disguised as supposed to be unpredictable. No, it's laziness, and it shows like you don't give enough thought. So at the last minute, you could just change a card like that. Well, anyway, up next we had Ronda Rousey cutting a very robotic promo. And I know she's capable of way more than this, but it's like there's just no like there's just nothing in this promo that sounds like a human being is saying it. And Ronda uses one word that I am completely opposed to in the WWE vocabulary. So a lot of people ask me if I were made the head writer of WWE, what would I do? Tell you what the first order of business would be for me is to ban that fucking word coward, because it is so overused. I mean, I would force the wrestlers to find some synonym for coward. I would have them just, I'd write, remember that whole list of terms that Vince McMahon doesn't want them to say so they can remain PC and further remain within the wrestling bubble? Well, I'd have a list of words that they weren't allowed to say, and they'd all be words that are completely overused, such as Michael Cole saying knocked off every single time somebody wins a match. He knocked off Finn Balor. He knocked off Kane. He knocked off Apollo Crews. I mean, there's certain terms that they need to completely remove from the announcers' vocabulary and from the wrestlers. So then a total random Dana Brooke comes out, and you guys know that, like, I think Dana Brooke is hot as hell, but, like, as far as a star, they've completely dropped the ball with her. I don't even know if they ever lifted the ball up with her, but all I know is that, very attractive girl. A very good-looking girl with a really good body on her, really athletic. And she seems like she probably could be something, but, they haven't even spent any time developing her at all. They kind of just, broke her up from the Apollo Crews Titus O'Neil team, which no one liked or even remembers, except sadly me. And so anyway, they were going to do something with her. It seemed like it, but then apparently not. Because that's just how they work now. You remember, like, back in the day, a breakup would instantly mean that star was probably going to get pushed. But, nowadays it just means that they're going to do absolutely nothing with them. They just want to break up the team for the fuck of it. But anyway, so Dana comes out and people are praising her on YouTube for a great promo. And this was probably the blandest promo I ever heard. I'm not even featured on Raw every week, but I fight. I fight to be I fight to be on the show and all this. And like, oh, okay. Join the club. Every single person is fighting for their spot on WWE. And we're going to talk about, even more deserving people, way more deserving than Dana Brooke being mistreated on this show. So just you wait. So she just gets her ass kicked by Ronda Rousey. And then Ronda she's about to put the armbar on her. And she goes, first pay $60. Well, here's the thing about that promo. I don't know if that was ad-libbed or not, but no one's paying $60 for Mania. If Mania costs $60, I sure as hell would not be watching it, and I would not be reviewing it. But it's not going to be. It's going to be $10 because that's how much the network costs. I don't know who's actually going to go. I mean, they still have those shows on demand. You could pay the $60 if you wanted to. But also the show actually was like $70, I think. Last it was like, just when it was exclusively on pay-per-view. Pay $60. No one's going to be paying $60 for this event. But, I mean, a cute little ad-lib there that kind of fell flat because it's not true. No one's going to be paying $60 to see this. Then it was Ricochet and Aleister Black, and they defeated the Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. I look at this, and I got to say something. Speaking of Shelton Benjamin, who was the former partner of Shelton Benjamin, by the way? Remember when I said they were wasting him in the tag team? It was with Chad Gable. Oh, well, look at this. Bobby Roode is another misused star, and who's he teaming with? Chad Gable. Hell, wasn't there another guy who got injured and really ran into some bad luck after a push Oh yeah, Jason Jordan with Chad Gable, right? Remember that? The original tag team, American Alpha. I think what we should start referring to Chad Gable is Chad the Curse Gable, because every single person this guy tags with always ends up having their career do a nosedive. And if there's going to be one person that you're going to insist on, if you know Chad Gable must be in a tag team with somebody, why not just put him in a tag team with Seth Rollins? Because what they could do is, you know, what could be their finisher? You know, isn't Chad Gable sort of a technical wrestler, right? So what they could do is they could use their voices, and they could talk people into submission. Yeah, that'd be a really unique idea. You know, it'd be the return of a great gimmick, right? You know, we finally see gimmicks back in wrestling. You know, the first, you know, non-touching submission move, they would just their opponent to death. I mean, I think that'd be really creative. So Aleister Black and Ricochet, they're just going from Raw to SmackDown, beating random tag teams, and I don't understand how you look at Aleister Black and you say this guy's a tag team guy. Up next, you had Alexa Bliss announcing that she's going to be the guest host for Mania. Guys, I don't know. I think that she's still injured. They brought her back a few months ago to be in the tag tournament, and she hasn't wrestled since. So I don't think that she's out of the woodwork yet when it comes to her concussions. I mean, if so, I mean, wouldn't she have been in the chamber? You know, wouldn't she have wrestled at Fastlane? I mean, I don't know what it is, or if maybe they've just got too much else going on with Ronda and Becky, and they just, you know, maybe they're like protecting, you know, Bliss. Because obviously she wrestles in the match with any of those people, she's probably going to be jobbing out to them. So I guess maybe they're trying to keep her, but like, does that just show how flawed they are? That they can't write anything for her? But I think it has something to do with the concussions, though. That's what I think. I don't think this has anything to do with them just wanting a good host for Mania or trying to protect her, you know, from looking bad. No, they don't even protect. You were going to talk about how they don't even protect Batista on this show, or Kurt Angle, or anybody like that. So, you know, why would they protect Alexa Bliss? Then Braun Strowman gets a gift from one of those, that, you know, the SNL guy that called wrestling fake last week. And, you know, he writes a cute little note to him. Charlie says that he's got a gift, and, you know, was it Charlie? No, I think it was some other goofball backstage. Somebody backstage gave Strowman a gift. I think it was a guy. Maybe it was a guy named Charlie. I don't fucking know. But anyway, it was like a nice sports car. Then the guy starts reading the note from the SNL goofball, and it's like, oh, you know, you got screwed out of you know, the belt so many times. So Braun gets insulted, and in the note he goes, please don't destroy the car like you did, you know, Vince McMahon's limo. And what does he do? He destroys the car. Okay, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing it was like last year at Mania. Strowman's not going to have a significant match. They're going to give him some fucking cheap-ass throwaway match like it was last year with him tag teaming with the referee's son. Or he might not even have a match at all. I don't know, you know, maybe they could just show him backstage flipping things over, because that's all the guy does anymore. I mean, how many cars, you know, it was one thing when he tipped over the ambulance originally, but now he's tipping everything over, and it's getting a little bit monotonous already. You know, if the guy's not getting screwed out of a title like they did say, it's like, you know, he's you know, flipping over vehicles. I mean, he just did that like a few months ago, and now they're going to go back and have him do it again. And it's funny. It's like they say, like, "Oh, don't tip it over," you know. Don't break the car. And what's he do? He destroys the car. I mean, like, wow, that was so suspenseful. I didn't actually think he was gonna do anything to the car. My God, like, just, like, who writes this? I mean, how could they put this out and be okay and sleep at night? I mean, I just wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, could you really write something this shitty and just go to bed and be like, all right, that was good enough. I did a good job. I mean, I would feel guilty. I would be like, man, I'm really being lazy here. I did not put a good effort into that show. But apparently not. They're just fine with it. Then Elias, it's time for Elias's promo, and he starts, singing his song. Okay, we all know they got nothing for him this week. And then No Way Jose comes out of nowhere, and he just beats the shit out of No Way Jose. And it's like the same thing like Dana Brooke. What was the point? Look, we all know how it's going to go with Elias as well. He's just same thing like Strowman. So it's funny that they're back to back. Remember Mania last year? Play a song. John Cena comes out and gives him the attitude adjustment. Look for something very similar this year. I mean, how do you not know how to write a comprehensive storyline for Elias? Forget about a comprehensive one. How about just a feud or of something like that? How about just something? I mean, besides every week having him come out there and cut a song against the town, isn't he a little bit too talented to just kind of put him in that one box? I mean, like, I say this time and time again, it's not that they don't have a good roster. They have plenty of people. The thing is that they just don't want to build stars. They have plenty of people who could be stars that look like stars, but they just don't want to groom them into being stars that could really carry this company and bring it to the next level, or at least make it a little bit better than it currently is. Then Harlem Heat was announced to be in the Hall of Fame. We already knew this. I'm sorry, I don't get excited for the Hall of Fame. The news already breaks like several days before it's even announced on Raw or SmackDown. And, you see just grimy shit all the time. Like Chyna being inducted in the faction instead of, by herself because, McMahon's got to be petty like that. It's got to be like on his terms. It's got to be like, if he's not in your good graces, he's going to do shit like that. It's all like a popularity contest. If you're not in good with McMahon, you're not going to get in the Hall of Fame. And it's fake anyway. Who gives a shit? It's basically McMahon's Hall of Fame. It's basically all McMahon's favorites, the people that McMahon wants to see in the Hall of Fame. No one votes on it. There's nothing like that. It's just, whoever McMahon wants to allow in. That's basically how it is. That's how it will always be. Then we've got Natalya, and she goes, I guess a no contest or disqualification with Nia Jax. She comes out with Beth Phoenix, and Beth Phoenix is supposed to be the babyface, but she's the one who interferes in the match. Okay, I get it. She's trying to get revenge for, the previous night, but, she's supposed to be the babyface, and she's attacking Nia Jax first. Okay, it's like it was quite obvious that they had nothing for for Nia Jax and Tamina, so they're just kind of randomly putting this together. Look, I know that Beth Phoenix is great. I like her and everything like that, but who was really asking for this match? Who wanted to see this? Who actually said to myself, you know what I really want to see at Mania this year? Natalya and Beth Phoenix versus Nia Jax and Tamina. And then, backstage, it's like Sasha Banks and Bayley, just holding their own against Nia Jax and Tamina. So I don't know if they're going to do a triple threat, if they're going to do, oh my God, all I know, it's just a match I just don't want to sit through. That's all I can analyze it as. Whether it's a triple threat, whether it's a four-way or what have you, it's just, I know that I'm just not going to like it. And I'm just, because there's no story here. It's just okay, Nia Jax and Tamina needed the match, so they're going to pick on Beth Phoenix, who's conveniently doing commentary at ringside. I mean, give me a break here. And then we had probably one of the cringiest promos of the night, Batista and Triple H. And there was no effort whatsoever given to this promo for, Triple H being the promo master and all that. All I heard here was Batista going, "Give me what I want," and Triple H then replying, "I'm going to give you what you want, the beating of your life." And he said the same thing like 3 times in a row, and Batista just keeps on repeating to himself, keeps repeating, "Give me what I want." Like, oh my God. Like, all they did was say the same line several times in a row during this promo. And it's like, that's what Batista wanted. Like, that more than anything in the world. I thought maybe there might have been something, but I kind of knew that that's what they were talking about because they can't think of anything clever, stakes of any kind during this match. No like secrets or anything why Batista might have came back. No story to be told. It's just like he came back because he just had to have the match with Triple H more than anything. He just had to have that match with Triple H. I mean, God forbid he go through life and not have a WrestleMania match with Triple H. And the thing is, he had a main event against Triple H already at WrestleMania 21, so why is it like a big obsession for him? He had to come back and beat up Ric Flair just for that? Like just so he could ask for like another match against. It's not like he lost the match; he won it. That's how he won the world title from Triple H. So why is he being so demanding of having another match with him? It's not like he's trying to redeem something that happened a few years ago that he just can't get over. So that's not the case. Like this, I'm sorry, this was a terrible fucking promo. And what was the deal with all the security around Batista? Batista's bigger than Triple H. You need security, and then Triple H, like, I don't know what's going on the past couple of weeks about them saying, this is fake and exposing the storylines on how horribly they are on TV. Seth Rollins exposing Brock Lesnar for almost losing to Finn Balor and several other smaller wrestlers. Like, they're not protecting the business. They're not protecting the wrestlers. They're not protecting anybody. But, like, I mean, Triple H saying, you've got the indie guys there protecting you. I mean, Triple H, you do the same thing on your show right here on Raw. I don't know if that's McMahon's call or whatever it is, but when they have Becky Lynch beating up security and Ronda Rousey beating up security, aren't those indie guys? I mean, like, honestly, like, you're just going to completely blow up your own spot and be like, well, the security that you see on wrestling are just indie guys. So there goes that little trope. Now we know, if you didn't already know, like, to the casual fans, if you thought that was security, it's not. It's indie guys. Nice job there, Triple H. For someone who loves the business so much, you constantly shit on it all the time. Then Kurt Angle cut a promo in the ring, and he's going to be retiring at WrestleMania. Oh, well, that's great. Well, who's he have a program with? What's that? He doesn't have a promo? Okay, he doesn't have a program, I mean? No program? How about a match? He's got at least, they must have admitted the match. Well, what's that? No, he says that he still doesn't know who his opponent's going to be. Even on the WWE.com exclusive, they couldn't be bothered to fucking give him a promo or an opponent at Mania, but they have the guy come out there and he's going to announce his retirement? Are you serious? Like, this guy has given WWE so much over the years. And after the Attitude Era, after we got into the Ruthless Aggression Era and there was no Rock and no Stone Cold, who was it that picked up the slack? Wasn't it someone called Kurt Angle, and a few other guys? Where is the respect for Kurt Angle? Just because he went to TNA, you have to treat him like a giant piece of shit? And you're going to announce that he's going to be retired. And let me tell you something, all these goofball smarks on the internet, all these people that pretend like they love the wrestlers and they put their bodies on the line. Let me tell you something. A guy like Kurt Angle could wrestle circles around a bum like Finn Balor. And all these people, oh, he should retire. Good. What? Because they buried him on TV? Kurt Angle is so much better than that. He could wrestle and sell 10 times better than any of the glorified indie goofballs out there. I can guarantee you that. Then he has a match against Apollo Crews, beats him with an angle slam, completely pointless, no respect for Kurt Angle whatsoever. This is just fucking disgusting. Like, after seeing this, let's just get through it. So, Drew McIntyre beats up Roman Reigns. Dean Ambrose fills in for him. They have a false count anywhere match. And then, basically this was just a repeat match of what happened at Fastlane, except it was a singles match instead of a 6-man tag. It ends on the stage. Drew hits the Claymore. They fall around the arena. That's all fine and well. I like, what is the plan? Are they gonna have Roman versus Drew McIntyre just so Roman can beat Drew at Mania? I mean, is that the plan? That's not gonna do anything for either guy. Roman is already beating Cena. He's beating The Undertaker. Beating Drew McIntyre isn't going to do anything for this guy. And losing to Roman Reigns is sure as hell not going to do anything for Drew McIntyre. So this show, honestly, I mean, just from the Seth Rollins promo to Kurt Angle just randomly announcing his retirement, and there's not even a match announced. When have you ever heard that? Like, that is such ass backwards booking. The fact that they actually booked his retirement before they even booked a retirement match for him to be in. There you go, guys. There's your road to WrestleMania. Hope you all enjoyed the review. And if you did, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe. And click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.